Welcome to the podcast for and about Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Brittany Felix, and every Monday through Friday, I'll be talking about a different aspect relating to the Springs, including upcoming events, restaurant reviews, local business spotlights, media coverage about the Springs, public works projects, local activities, answering your questions about the city, and much, much more. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any of the updates. And also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to all of those social media accounts at springspodcast.com/social media. The Colorado Springs podcast is proudly sponsored by Elevation Hydration. Elevation Hydration is the only hydration therapy clinic serving Colorado Springs, and they are dedicated to helping you elevate your life. They use intravenous vitamin therapy to help athletes needing a boost of energy or help recovering after a tough competition, people experiencing cold-like symptoms or dehydration from the flu, anyone needing to recover quickly from a rough night out. I'm looking at you, college kids. And just anyone wanting a healthy alternative to preventative care. They have a wide variety of hydration packages to help address whatever your needs are. They're conveniently located inside Lush Beauty Lounge at 812 Village Center Drive, and if you mention this podcast during your visit, you'll receive $10 off any hydration package. To learn more about Elevation Hydration or to schedule an appointment, visit springspodcast.com/hydrate. Welcome to episode 32 of the Colorado Springs podcast. I've previously talked about rental properties here in Colorado Springs and how the increase in residents is affecting the, pricing and the availability of rental properties. And today I'm actually going to discuss a similar topic, but we're going to talk about buying and owning a property here in Colorado Springs. So if you are considering moving to the Springs, or if you are here already and you're renting and you're considering not renting anymore, you want to buy, this episode is going to be for you. If these are the situations that you're in, I'm going to start by saying I am sorry. Unfortunately, it is not a buyer's market at the moment. Colorado Springs is absolutely a seller's market, and I'm going to follow that up with also saying I feel your pain. My husband and I are currently renting. We moved to Colorado Springs in September of 2016. We signed a 6-month lease just in case we didn't like where we ended up staying, because we had to sign a lease without visiting the property first because we were actually in Las Vegas at the time traveling. So we decided to do a short lease because we didn't know, what area of town we wanted to be on. We didn't know if we would like our complex, and we are so thankful that we did because we absolutely hate where we are staying. And I will not name that place until we are long gone and done with this area here. But all that is to say that we cannot wait to be out of here. With the rising costs of rent, we decided to look at purchasing a property instead because we are here for the long haul. We love this city. We do want to travel eventually one day, but we want Colorado Springs to always be our home base and to be the place we come back to. So we started looking, and we are actually now finally under contract to purchase a townhome here, and we will hopefully this time next month will be moving into our new place. However, to go back a little bit and just to kind of talk about the market here. Unfortunately, for people looking to purchase a home, Colorado Springs actually set a record high for the average price sold this past January. Now, record highs are usually set in the summer months because that's obviously when more people buy and sell property. So to set it in January, which is typically one of the slowest months of the year, is pretty incredible. So right now, the average sale price on a single-family home, which again is an all-time high for the city, is $298,774. Now, if you're coming from a place like California, that number may not shock you so much, where they spend, $400,000 for a 2-bedroom condo in a not-so-great part of town. But if you're coming from a place like Indiana, like we are, that's a bit shocking. Our first home in Indiana was a 2,000 square foot home, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, formal dining room, eat-in kitchen, 2-car garage, nice big backyard, huge loft upstairs, a pretty decent neighborhood. and we got it for, I think it was $92,000. Now, granted, it needed some cosmetic work. It was a foreclosure, but it was strictly cosmetic that it needed. It just needed new floors, new paint, and, updating the fixtures. That was pretty much it. Now, to also follow that up, we lived in it for 4 years, and we kind of did some of those cosmetic improvements on it when we lived in it. And we sold it in the spring of last year, 2016, for a profit of $40,000. So, it did increase. That put the sale price around $130,000. But still, you take that house and you compare it here to the, 2-bedroom, 1,200-foot townhome that we are purchasing right now at a purchase price of $140,000. It puts things into perspective for sure. And so when you think about the average single-family home selling for almost $300,000, that just blows my mind. And it's actually a 13.3% increase over January of last year. That's a huge jump. Huge. Whenever you get into the double digits, that's amazing for, a percentage increase in pricing. And the crazy thing is, the previous record was $295,877, and it was just set this past August. So we are continuing to increase. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another record high this coming summer because, summer months are busier for home sales than winter months. It's just how it is. And it's expecting to only continue to increase. So 2018 could be very interesting. So if you are currently renting and you think that you might want to buy, I recommend doing it sooner rather than later because it's only going to get more expensive. And obviously your rent's only going to get more expensive as well. So the buying process right now, it's reported in these news reports that I will link to in the show notes, but I am speaking from my own personal experience. The buying process here is extremely infuriating if you're in the market that we are in, which, we were trying to stay at, 140 was really our max. We wanted to be closer to like 120 because we are treating this property as something that we're going to live in for maybe a few years, and then we're going to turn it into a rental property or sell it and upgrade. If you're in that same range, you're competing with all of the other investors who are buying up properties left and right to turn into rental properties. And so what that looks like in real time is it's not uncommon at all. In fact, it's probably more common that properties go under contract or receive at least multiple offers the day it gets listed. There was actually one point in our home search where I just so happened to be at my computer, and so I saw the MLS listing literally seconds after it went up. I called my real estate agent right away. She was actually about 5 minutes away from me because she has just dropped me off from looking at another property. She turned around, came and picked me up, and within 30 minutes of that listing going live on the MLS, we were in the unit doing a walkthrough. We loved it, we put in an offer, and we still did not get it. They still had multiple other offers from cash buyers. And so not only are you running up against the investors who are paying cash, which that's actually how we sold our first home, it's so much easier. I absolutely cannot fault a homeowner for going with a cash buyer over someone who's not. But you're also competing against people who are offering $5,000, $10,000 over the list price, just so that they can be competitive against multiple offers. There was another property we actually really loved and wanted to go see. It went on the market on Thursday. We called on Thursday to try and get a showing, and they said they were not letting anyone in to see it until Saturday. So we scheduled a showing for Saturday. Come Saturday morning, they already had 2 offers and were already under contract. They hadn't even let anyone see the property yet, and they had 30 showings scheduled for Saturday, which was the first day they were really letting anyone in. So 2 offers, under contract, 30 showings, literally the first day that you could go and see this place. So it was extremely frustrating for us. We finally, luckily got under contract on a property that we absolutely love. I think it's my favorite that we walked through, so if all works out, it will have gone the way that it was supposed to. But if you are considering buying in this market, that is something you absolutely need to be aware of. You need to make sure you have your financing in order. You need to essentially remove emotion from the situation, which I understand is so difficult to do. But you cannot get into these bidding wars over these properties and end up paying way, way more than the property is worth. you have to be smart. And that's one of the dangerous things about this type of market is that people get desperate and they get to the point where they just want something. They don't care how much they have to pay for it. And they get in over their heads. They end up paying way too much for a property or having to back out of the sale because the lender won't finance it if it doesn't appraise for the value that you're supposed to pay for it. So just do your research. Allow yourself plenty of time. Don't be like us and be in a time crunch where you have to be out of your apartment within 2 months of even starting to look for a place. And really understand that you're going to be paying maybe more than you expected. Maybe not. Maybe this price range is no problem for you. But even the homes above $300,000 are still selling like crazy. So get with an agent that you trust that is going to really advocate for you, that's not going to slack off because these properties go fast. You need someone who's going to be right there, answer your phone call every time, get you into these properties as soon as possible, and is going to be aggressive about it. And I'm going to do a little plug here for our agent because I absolutely adore her. She has been so amazing throughout this whole process. And I actually met her at one of the bridal shows that I attended, and I've discussed on the podcast before. She had a little table there, and I met her, connected with her personality instantly, and she has been a godsend throughout all of this. She has been one of those people. She's answered my phone call every time. She's responded to my text every time. And let me tell you, I can be pretty high maintenance when it comes to stuff like this. I'm impatient and obsessive and anxious, and she has handled me perfectly. She's got us in to see everything. She has had our back every step of the way. So her name is actually Pam Gordon, and I'm going to have her contact information in the show notes for this episode. So if you're looking for a realtor, I highly, highly recommend her. She has been fantastic. I literally cannot say enough good things about her. In the show notes, I'm also going to have some links to some news articles about this, as well as the statistics that are put out by the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors that just kind of shows you where the current home market is, what the trends are, and that will help you get a better idea and let you really kind of make the decision as to whether or not you need to start looking right now or whether you can buy yourself a little bit more time. So you can find all of those resources and Pam's contact information in the show notes on my website at springspodcast.com/032. And of course, those are the actual numbers 032. Want to take a moment to remind you to follow the Colorado Springs podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and or YouTube. You can find links to all of those social media accounts at springspodcast.com/social media. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you back here tomorrow for yet another episode.